Hello, I'm Charles Moffat, and this is a book review of The Dark World by Henry Kuttner, which is a very small book. It is 124 pages long, roughly, 128, around there. And it's got, X number of chapters. But the book is like tiny. It's like such a small book. Like, this is effectively a novella. It's not a big book, and it's one of the reasons why I bought it. Is that I was in the used bookstore called Rereading. There's the how much I paid for it and everything, and it was a case of I looked at this book and I liked the cover. I've never read any of Henry Kuttner's books before. I've never seen his work before. I've never even heard of this guy. But I liked the cover. I liked the name, The Dark World. And the fact that it was so small kind of struck me. Like, I want to read this and just see how good it is. And it's actually really good. And I understand now why there's this quote at the top that says, "I consider the work of Henry Kuttner to be the finest science fantasy ever written." And that's a quote by Marion Zimmer Bradley. So that's some high praise there. And it is a very good book. I will give you that. It is a very good book. I was not expecting much, like for a tiny book. And it is good. It is definitely good. But within that, I also say that this is more of a book for like people who like sword and sorcery, or definitely anybody who likes science fantasy. But I'd also say that this has an interesting perspective in terms of it's written from first person, but it switches back and forth between two main characters. And it's unusual because the one main character is Edward Bond, okay, as mentioned on the back cover, okay? And the other main character is Ganelon. But they're kind of the same person. It's almost like split personalities. And if you ever want to write a book about a character with split personalities, read this one first. Just read this first. It is a fascinating look at like how to write split personalities in a book. Just awesome. Just such an amazing job that Henry Kuttner did. I'm not going to ruin the plot. It's kind of a generic. I'm not going to say. I guess it's not very dramatic. It's definitely a sword and sorcery type plot. But it's got like science and fantasy all mixed together in there. Mutations and so forth. But it's unusual at the same time because it's almost like epic fantasy, and just the character bit in terms of like going back and forth from the personalities definitely stands out as the key reason to read this book. The story, like it could have been a very different story, but still have the character, effectively going back and forth between the two personalities, would still have been very interesting, regardless, I think, of whatever the plot was. So it was a good plot, but it's the character personality thing going back and forth that was so well done and so amazing to read. So, like, if I ever write a character, who has split personalities, I'm gonna like replicate basically what Henry Kuttner did here. It's such an amazing thing that he did with the split personalities. It's just I don't know what else to say right now. It's a good book. If you find a copy of this in a used bookstore, you should buy it and read it. And you're not going to find it anywhere else, I have a hunch, because I don't think Henry Kuttner, but I've gone looking for his stuff now that I've read this book. It's not easy to find his work. Okay, I'm guessing a lot of it's been out of publication for a very long time. But if you can find it in a used bookstore, definitely something worth reading. Okay? Yeah, and I would read this one over again. This is one of these books I would read over again because it was that good. Okay. I'm Charles Moffat. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.